Hey everyone, welcome back to the Crossed Wires podcast. This is your host, Pat Benson. I want to thank you for tuning back in as I've been away from the podcast world for some time now, dodging COVID, working on music, and touring with Nine Inch Nails since the world got back up and running again. I'm pretty excited about this episode. I'm really stoked with how it turned out. I've spent the last several months working on these demos and interviews, and I think it came out really cool. I do have to warn you that there's a bit of spicy language throughout the episode, so if you have dogs or cats, maybe take them outside or put earmuffs on them if they're indoor pets. So yeah, just a warning. So without delaying any more, here is the first episode back of Crossed Wires. Hope you enjoy. On this week's episode of Crossed Wires, I will unravel a mystery that has swept the nation, leaving the gear community shrouded in secrecy and utter disbelief. This is known only as the 10 years pedal. So, I do know a little bit about this, and what I know is that the 10 years is a PV Decade guitar amplifier in a box. The PV Decade was a really popular practice amp in the 80s and 90s that you could find practically anywhere for dirt cheap, up until recent dark times, that is. Now, the 10 years is unbranded, pink, and it's louder than your grandmother's jackhammer. Now, it features the same controls as a PV Decade, with 3 band EQ, pre- and post-gain controls, and even a toggle switch for normal and saturation mode. Over the course of this episode, I'll take you through the sounds and functionality of this pedal as I demonstrate the 10 years on guitar, bass, synth, and even a drum machine. Now, I cannot legally go into the details as to how I acquired this pedal. Trust me, I can't, I won't. But it's safe to say it's becoming a new classic, as it's currently being used by St. Vincent, The Strokes, Paramore, and John Mayer, and some of those people that I mentioned may even find their way on this episode. And if you're still listening at the end, I will attempt to interview the man behind this mystery, who goes by Gus Pancakes? Pancakes. Now look, I don't know who this Pancakes fella is, but if there's someone out there that does, it is my first caller. I found out about the 10 years and Gus Pancakes on their very popular YouTube series known as the JHS Show. My first caller is the founder, inventor, mastermind of JHS pedals. They need no introduction. I don't even know why I'm introducing him. Joshua Heath Scott of JHS Pedals. Let's get him on the phone right now. I think he knows who Gus is. Let's call him.
Hello, this is Joshua Heath Scott.
Hi, Josh. This is Pat Benson from the Crossed Wires podcast.
Never heard of it.
Well, it's the first episode.
How did you get the number?
It's not important. Anyway, I was calling you to ask about the creator of the 10 years pedal, Gus Pancakes. I saw on your show, the JHS show, that he wrote you a personalized message on a My Pet Monster Valentine. Do you know Gus?
Well, I knew this day would come. Pam, is it?
No, it's Pat.
Okay, right. I'm a super busy guy. I've got a YouTube show to do. I'm inventing inventions all day, and then those inventions I'm inventing have to be true bypass, or I get roasted. If that wasn't enough, all while I'm training to run the first consecutive triple marathon for people over 6'3".
Wow, that's impressive.
It is. It's 78.63 miles to be exact.
That's a lot.
Well, to answer your question, I did meet him. He told me all my pedals are for cork sniffers and my head looks like a place oatmeal goes to die.
I don't think your head...
Well, I have to go. I'm having dinner with my kids, so I've got to go.
Josh, you there? Oh, crap. I think I lost him. Sorry about that, everyone. I think Josh had to go and run and record another episode of the really popular, really great JHS show, so we're going to let him go do that. All right, well, let's move on to the demo portion of this episode. I'm going to start with guitar, but first I want to give you all an overview of the pedal. If you look at the artwork for this episode, you'll notice that it's a picture of the 10 years. Feel free to look at that, or don't if you're driving. I don't recommend you do that. So, looking at the pedal, we have the pre-knob. This is your input volume going into the circuit. Then we have the EQ controls, low, mid, and high. The post knob is your master output volume. In the middle of the controls, you'll find a normal and saturation toggle switch. That's pretty self-explanatory. Now you'll notice that the pedal is labeled 9 to 18 volt DC power. At 18 volts, you'll have higher headroom and more output. 9 volts, you'll distort sooner and have a little more compression. And at 12 volts, that basically splits the difference. I'll go more on this in the demo. I should also mention that this pedal is true bypass. The EQ on the 10 years is actually very unique. The low and mid controls are subtractive. This means that they only cut, they do not boost frequencies. You'll hear that the low and mids will start to double as you put more input into the pedal via that pre-knob. Then you can start pulling those frequencies back. Now here's where it gets interesting. The high knob is active. This means that it boosts and cuts, and it's parallel to the low and mid controls, meaning that the treble frequencies are not affected by the low and mids, and they will distort at a different rate. This gives you a very pronounced attack and clarity, even when the pedal is in saturation at full tilt. This pedal is mega loud, so don't be careless when it comes to the post knob unless you really hate your ears. Trust me, I know. I've been recording this pedal for weeks now. So before I blow your eardrums out, which I won't do, I promise, I should probably let you know what I'm using. Since it's a cool gear podcast and everything, you should probably know. I'm playing a Rickenbacker Model 360 guitar with Teisco gold foil pickups. Those are not typically found in these guitars. This one was modified. It sounds really sweet and really unique. And I'm running this into a Fender Silverface Champ from the 70s, which has volume, treble, and bass. It's not the Vibro Champ. I love this amp. It's my favorite amp. I use it on my workbench as a reference amp. I really love this amp. I can't say that enough. That's it. I used a microphone to pick up the sound, and that's going into my preamps and interface and into the computer and out to your speakers. And the only other thing that's in line is a Peterson strobe tuner, I swear. All right, let's move on to the guitar demonstration. Here is my clean tone with no 10 years. Here we go.
10 years.
That is a pretty nice sounding clean boost from the 10 years. Let's bump the pre-knob up a little bit, which again is the input going into the circuit. I'm going to scoop the mids a little bit and bring up the highs. Let's give it a little more everything. What do you all think? The pre is now at 8. All right, let's switch gears a little bit and go to the bridge pickup position. All right, let's bring the pre-knob down to 5, and I'm going to switch the switch. We're going to go from normal to saturation. In case we all forgot, here is the 10 years off.
10 years.
I think I got that sounding pretty good on guitar. What do you all think? Well, if there's someone out there that can make it sound better, I'm pretty certain it's this next caller. I know he has one of these on his pedal board, and I even think he has 2 of them. He might even have 2 pedal boards with 2 10 years. I don't know. But I know he has one of them, and I know he makes it sound really good. This next caller is none other than Nick Valenci of the band The Strokes. I toured with them last year. I know he has this pedal. I think he knows who Gus Pancakes is, and I hope he can shed some light on some of this mystery. So let's get him on the phone right now. Nick Valenci, The Strokes. Here we go. Holy crap.
Hello?
Hey, Nick, this is Pat Benson from the Crossed Wires podcast.
From Sweetwater.com? Yes, thank you for checking in. I love how you guys always check in. The guitar stands are great. I received them, and I appreciate everything. Thank you.
No. This is Pat Benson, you know, the podcast Crossed Wires.
Wayne? Is that Wayne?
No, it's Pat Benson. We toured together last year. Anyway, I'm calling you about the 10 years pedal. Do you know Gus Pancakes?
Pancakes? Yeah, I do. A long time ago, he told me that one day, listen, dude, I gotta go. I'm having dinner with my kids right now. Sorry.
Nick, hello. I think, I lost him definitely. I think he was driving through a canyon or something. You know, I'll try giving Albert a call next. Maybe he could shed some light. He has one of these pedals as well. He must. I think he does. All right. Well, it's time to move on. Let's move away from the guitar world stuff for a moment before I call Albert about this. Let's put the 10 years on a drum machine. And before I tell you what drum machine I have here in my studio currently, I should let you know that I'm going to run the 10 years on 12 volts. That's kind of a sweet spot that I found for this example. You're still getting that distortion sound, but you're having a little bit higher headroom. So it just sounds sweet. So I'm going to keep it at 12 volts. I may bump it. I may not. I'll let you know if I do. Anyway, so the drum machine that I'm using is none other than the legendary Linn drum machine. I'm not using samples. I'm not using an Arturia keypad thing with... No, none of that. This is the real deal. I don't know how I got it. I don't know where I got it from. I can't tell you. Again, legal stuff. I can't go there. But just know it's the real deal. It's not samples. It sounds awesome. Okay, let's just hear the Linn drum, no 10 years, and then we'll move on from there. Here we go.
10 years.
All right, let's kick on the saturation mode. Okay, cool. I'm going to go back to the normal mode, and I'm going to bump the voltage to 18 volts. Let's check that out. Pretty cool. Let's bump the switch to saturation. Yeah, that's all right. All right, saturation is off. And now the pedal is off. Let's move on to the snare sound now. Here's the dry Linn drum snare sound. Yeah, that's a little too dry. Let's turn on the...
10 years.
Cool, let's add some saturation. Okay, back to normal. Let's bump it on up to 18 volts. Here we go. Turning on saturation. Yeah, okay. I could probably drive us all crazy doing this anymore. So I'm going to stop now. I'm going to get a beat going, and I'm going to have the 10 years off and then on. Probably start in the normal mode as I like that the best. And I'll kick on saturation and maybe bump the voltage up, all while adjusting EQ parameters. And I may even add a few other elements on the Linn drum into the mix. So here we go. Let's get a beat going.
10 years.
calling Albert here. Hopefully he's not too busy.
Hello.
Albert Hammond Jr., how's it going, man? It's been a while.
Oh, hey, man. Who's this?
Pat Benson from the Crossed Wires podcast. We toured together last year.
Pat. Are you the guy that was pretending to be Wayne that just called Nick?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, I wasn't pretending to be Wayne.
Look, I love Wayne. We all love Wayne. He's the best. Wayne does what Wayne does best, which is being Wayne. Do you actually know Nick? Because he was saying that...
Yeah, Nick and I go way back. I think the call got dropped because he was probably driving through a canyon or something. Anyway, I'm calling about the 10 years pedal. Gus Pancakes, the creator. Do you know him?
Are you recording me right now?
Yeah, well, it's for the podcast, Crossed Wires.
Yeah, that sounds 100% made up.
No, I assure you, it's real. Anyway, do you know Gus?
Of course I know Gus. Gus gets me into Spago on Friday night within an hour's notice. He's really powerful. Listen, Patricia, I have to go. I'm having dinner with my kids.
It's Pat. Albert? Hello? Crap. I think, well, sorry about that, everyone. I think Albert was driving on that same freeway Nick was driving on. They were probably together, is what my guess is from that call. You know what? That about does it for the Strokes. Maybe we'll have them on another episode. But for now, let's move on to the bass guitar. The 10 years sounds great on bass. I've been using it at 18 volts. It has a lot of headroom there, and it just sounds really good on bass. I'm using a 1970s Fender Mustang, strung up with round wound, so it's really gritty, and I'm just going to go straight into my preamp. But before I turn on the 10 years, let's just hear that clean tone so we have a reference. Here we go.
10 years.
I should mention that the EQs were all at noon, but I'm not really buying that whole gimmick, so let's bring the lows almost all the way up and leave everything the same, and check that out. All right, let's scoop those mids. Cool, now I'm going to darken it a bit by bringing down the high almost all the way. All right, that's sounding good. Let's bring up the highs and the mids, and let's kick on saturation mode. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, let's bring the highs down a little bit. I'm going to bring up the mids, and let's bring up that pre, which is the input volume. Let's bring that up to about 7. Oh yeah, that's sounding amazing. The 10 years doesn't lie, so let's bring the pre up a lot. All right, let's scoop the mids. I did not do this on guitar, but we're definitely going to do it on bass. Let's bring that pre-knob, the input, all the way up to 10. I don't know, I think that slaps, people. What do you think? Should I play more bass, or should I move on? I don't really want to move on because this next segment is another caller, and I don't really have a good track record here of phone calls on this show. I might ditch this whole thing next episode. I don't know. But I hope I find out some information about who this Gus is and what the 10 years is all about, how it came to be. My next caller is none other than Taylor York of the band Paramore. He plays guitar, synthesizers. He does it all. I think he'll help me out. I hope. If he doesn't, I'm really screwed. Here we go.
Good morning.
Hey, Taylor York. This is Pat Benson calling from the Crossed Wires podcast.
Oh, the Pat Benson from the Cross Wires podcast? Dude, no way. I'm actually a huge fan.
Really? Is that
I mean, not really. I've never heard of you, but I could just sense that you needed a little pick me up by the sound of your voice.
Yeah, thanks. You have no idea how much I needed that, actually. This whole podcast thing has been really hard. It seems like every time I try to call someone to ask about Gus pancakes, they just kind of
Hold on. Sorry, one second. Yo, what'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Pam Benstone from the Cross Wires podcast.
It's Pat.
Yeah, that's the guy that shit his pants at the Bellagio. Yeah.
What? I haven't done that since like at least
Yo,
3.
Pan, I have to stop you right there because I got to run, man.
Let me guess. You're out to dinner with...
I'm having dinner with my kids. All right, later.
Wow. That's 4. That's 4 times. Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to move on. Do you even want to hear the next demo? I mean, it's a synthesizer. Does anyone even want to hear that? I mean, I don't even want to continue with this, but... I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe... Whoa. What is this? All right, I got a text from Taylor. Hey, Pan. Wow. Okay. Really? Here is Gus's contact, email, and phone. Whoa. All right. Here we go. This is something. I let him know you were in search of him. I hope you find what you're looking for. Wow. Okay, here we go. Well, I got an email, and I got a phone number. I'm not going to call him right now. I got to get to that synth demo, but why don't I send him a demo that I did? I recorded a song, and I played every instrument, and I used the 10 years on every track. Why don't I send him that? If he likes it, maybe he'll want to talk to me. Yeah. What's the harm in that? Here we go. I'm going to send that over. All right, let's move on to the synthesizer demo. I have a Moog grandmother set up with a sequence. 2 oscillators are on. I'm going to start with the 10 years off, then turn it on, control some of the EQ settings, then switch on saturation. I don't know. Then I'll probably go crazy with it, maybe mess with some controls on the synthesizer itself, and then go from there. Just give you a glimpse of what it can do on a Moog grandmother. It's kind of a bass sound, and then I'll do like a lead sound as well. So here we go. Here is just the grandmother, no 10 years.
10 years.
All right, let's kick on the saturation mode now, and I will bump up the pre-gain knob, adjust the EQs slightly. I'm going to start with the cutoff frequency on the synthesizer all the way up, and then I'm going to kind of move it around, make it a little more musical. So let's check that out. I don't know. I think that sounds better than Grandma's jackhammer. Right? I mean, come on. All right. Well, during that demonstration, I got an email back from Gus. He wants to talk. He's ready. I think he found out about this show that I'm doing, and he's tired of the rumors. He's tired of all the gossip. So he wants to talk, and he wants to talk now. I don't know how this is going to go or what his mood is like or anything, but I don't know. I hope we find some answers, I hope we get to the bottom of this. So without further ado, here is Gus. I'm going to call him right now. Here we go.
This is King Prawn of Shrimp City. Who's this?
Hi, this is Pat Benson with the Crossed Wires podcast. Am I speaking with Gus Pancakes?
Indeed you are.
Hi, Gus. I'm calling about the elusive 10 years pedal.
What did you say? You're from the media?
Well, not exactly. I'm from a podcast about
Oh,
guitars.
Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan experience. Hell yeah.
No.
Finally. I've been waiting for this call for some time. I mean, I was expecting it, but, better late than never. Okay, first question. All right, this is exciting. I'm excited. Woo! Yeah. Okay, go.
Okay, yeah,
First
right.
question, go.
First question. Yeah, first question. How did you come up with the name of the 10 years?
Well, that's irrelevant, honestly. That's weird because I feel like someone is experienced from the Joe Rogan podcast would ask me interesting questions about the world today.
Well, no, I'm really just calling about the 10 years, but maybe let's back up a bit. What kind of music do you like, Gus?
That's me backing up, brother. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's your question, Nick?
Music.
You're gonna ask it?
Yeah, what kind of music do you like?
I mean, hell yeah, brother. I mean, I turn it up. If it goes to 10, it's not good enough for me. It's got to go to 11. You turn it up, That's the shit I like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Well, okay, back to the topic. How long have you been making guitar pedals?
Well, it's a tale as old as time. I mean, everybody's got parents and, dreams and, crypto. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna get up in this space. I'm gonna put a boot in it and I'm gonna crack it off.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but anyway, your pedal, the 10 years, it was released during the pandemic.
Hell
yeah. I assume making the pedal.
Wait, what was the question?
Well, okay, so your pedal was released during the pandemic, and I assume
the fake news media, the pandemic. What are you trying to do, Pam? You trying to sell me face diapers?
It's Pat.
Trying to tell me that I've got to go to the drive-in theater to see Aquaman 3 instead of going inside and sitting front row and putting my boots on the screen. They're all caked with mud from kicking ass in the field.
No. What I'm asking is, did you spend most of your time during quarantine making these pedals?
No, man. I mean, I've been trying to stay hydrated. You know what I mean? You don't sound very hydrated by the sound of your voice. I mean, I've been drinking Logan Paul's Prime and hitting the gym and my body's like full diesel right now. I've been going on Instagram and me and the Liver King have been going back and forth. I'm like, hey brother, how many bricks can you pick up today? And he's like, oh man, I can pick up at least 2 pallets of bricks. And he's got his girl in the hot tub and his hat's backwards. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of media, I did see your pedal.
Eating livers, you know what I mean?
No, I've never eaten liver in my life. Anyway, I saw your pedal.
I could tell by the sound of your voice that there's a rustly little whispery beard growing on that boyish face of yours.
There's not. No, there's not. There's not.
Very boyish, I can tell. You don't hydrate. Stay hydrated. That's number one.
I drink water.
And then learn how to interview someone. Number 2,
Okay.
So you might want to stay hydrated first.
Okay,
next
Speaking
question.
of hydration, I saw your pedal on the Best of 2021 JHS
Hell yeah,
show.
brother.
Yeah. That must have been really exciting for you, right? To have your pedal on a popular YouTube channel?
I mean, hell yeah, it was on the best of. I mean, your pedal is on the worst of all time. You're right at the top of that list.
I don't have a pedal. I don't have
But
one.
that JHS guy, I mean, he's nice and everything, but his head kind of looks like a big bowl of oatmeal or something. And he's on the internet all the time, getting roasted in the comments for not being quote unquote true bypass. You know what I mean? The people are talking. People know what true bypass is. And you've heard the rumors, right, Pam?
It's Pat, but
you heard the rumor. It's a true bypass.
You bring up a good point.
Hoax. That's a hoax.
Well, I don't know about that, but you bring up a good point.
True bypass hoax.
Is the 10 years a true bypass pedal?
I mean, what do you think? Next question.
All right. Well, I see the 10 years on a lot of famous people's pedal boards. Is that exciting for you?
Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Is that exciting for you to see it connecting with a large audience?
Where do you see your pedals on? In the garbage.
Well, I don't make pedals. I have.
I mean, I'm picking up mermaids on the beach, taking them to Spago, and I'm pulling up in my Maserati and the top's down, and like I like pull up and like throw my keys to Wolfgang Puck and like, hell yeah, man, I came in to get some of that seafood pizza, like California pizza style, I mean, it's expensive. You wouldn't really know what I'm talking about per se, but I mean, just picture luxury and like, the waves are crashing and I'm with my mermaid girl and, that whole thing.
Yeah, right. That whole thing. Well, okay, Gus.
Spago. I can get a table any night of the week.
I'm sure you could.
Seafood pizza. Hell yeah.
Let me ask you this: what is your home setup wise, gear wise? What's that?
Well,
what's that like?
You're exactly right on that one. You're exactly right. That's where I turn up, make it loud. You know what I mean? Are we talking man to man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I don't think you can even do a pull-up like a single one, but yeah, there's like a Marshall mini fridge and like I turn it up and there's like, baby carrots in there and like they're organic, and of course, and yeah, hell yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I sent you over a demo that I made of some music.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what that was, right?
Yeah.
Shoegaze,
well,
indie shoegaze. Is that what? Yeah, I remember that,
Yeah, well,
with your chorus pedals. And
I don't know if you read the email, but I used the 10 years pedal on every track of that. What did you think, hearing the 10 years on multiple different instruments?
Yeah, next question.
Okay, fine. How can someone buy a 10 years pedal?
I mean, first, you have to have a diverse portfolio. You got to know. You know what I mean? I got like Gary V NFTs and like those have a great utility. He basically comes to my house and like speaks, to my guests. Sometimes I'll have, Dweezil Zappa there, Steve Aoki, and like Gary V's like, you got to get into this space, the NFTs, Web3, we got to put down flags, buy acreage, I've got a couple bored apes, what a bored ape is? No, you don't. But I got a lot of them, and I paid like 700 ETH,
$700 or
no ETH. It's like $1.8 million, and like
oh.
me and Aoki were like trading bored apes and Web3. It's awesome. So
that
awesome.
sounds awesome.
Hell yeah, Web3.
All right, well, Gus, my last question. I want to ask you: Did you know that Queens of the Stone Age are famously known for using
fat bottom girls? You make the rockin' world go round. Oh hell yeah, hell yeah! I turn that up. Yeah, it's not like a shoegaze. I turn it up. They got that Adam Lambert guy, and man, that guy can sing his ass off. And he's hitting all the right notes and everything. But, he doesn't have the mustache and he's not holding that little mini mic stand in the same way. And I gotta say, it feels a little different, but I'm here for it. I'm front row. My boots are up, on the stage. They're dirty as hell because I'm in the field, but like, hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, look, I'm sorry to have to do this, but I actually gotta go. I'm about to have dinner with my kids.
You mother. Go yourself.
Wow. All right, that just about does it for that episode. If you want to find out more information about Gus Pancakes and the 10 Years pedal, head on over to crossedwires.blog. And if you're interested in checking out some music that I made, last year I released an instrumental album under the name Olin, and the album is called As the Crow Flies. You can find out more information about that project over at olinmusic.com. The album is available on all streaming services, and if you want to purchase it for any price you want, head on over to my Bandcamp page. That's olynmusic.com. The number to call, people, is 209-900-4287. Again, that's 209-900-4287. Or send me an email, crosswirespodcast@gmail.com. I want to talk to you. I want you to talk to me. This is me signing off. Until next time.
Is it true bypass? I mean, quote unquote. I'm connecting with this audience right now. I mean, I feel like, we're like the ocean waves crashing on the shore, and there's like a big, beautiful mermaid there, and she's like, hey man, how'd you get on this beach? And I'm like, I'm the waves, baby, you know what I mean? We go over to Spago or some for that, and like, you know what I mean? You probably can't afford seafood pizza, that's something special, like in certain circles that I'm rolling with. I've got my mermaid right next to me in my convertible, and I'm pulling up to Spago, and I'm throwing my keys to Wolfgang, and he's like, rock on, motherfucker. Is that what they call shoegaze? You know what I mean? I mean, you guys and your offsets and your sneakers and your delays. Like, I get it. Yeah, chorus, man. I heard that back in the 80s, and I was like, wow. You can't turn that up.